Hello and welcome to the Messages from Energy here on the Astroflower. Welcome. We're going to be going into obviously the chakra sequences and also the messages from the Earth and from the portal in the center of the Earth. I want to tie up a few things basically about from last week. Now, there was an aspect of brace, and I think we're going into that brace at the moment. Just looking at the sun now, the reason I look at the sun, because this is the energy that's coming through the universal system. It's our local prana distribution, or chi energy distribution, if you like. And if we can see what's happening on the sun, we get a sort of notion what should be coming through the Earth's energy. And as that comes through the Earth's energy, it comes through your individual energy, coming through your chakra systems, which then creates your aura and etc. So I'd like to just have a quick look at the sun to see what's going on. Here you can see here the coronal holes more than anything else. Now those dark patches, those very dark patches there, it's a little bit like the breaks in the cloud. If you were looking out at space at the Earth, it's like the break in the clouds, and you can see into the center of the Earth, or what's going on the surface of the Earth. And it's a similar sort of thing what's going on with the sun there, and you can see that coronal hole that's streaking across the whole of the sun, going from southern to northern hemisphere on the sun, and that big coronal hole that's gradually working out of view. That's that earth energy, and I still think that earth energy is going to be prevalent within the general energies that are coming through, I think, for the next at least 2 or 3 weeks. And then looking in longer terms, I think it's really going to install itself at the end of 2025, and then we will have 3 years of coronal holes like we've had 3 years of solar flares. And talking about solar flares, we did have solar flares, and quite a few, even X flares, but none of these flares produced any major CME plasma eruptions in the direction of the Earth. The KP index, as you see here, is very calm. That's the magnetic field or the aura of the Earth. We can see a slight build up, and I would expect that to be building up over the next couple of days, certainly with the Earth energy that's coming through from those coronal holes. But those solar flares, as we saw earlier on, were shooting either side of the Earth. So it's either going one side or the other. And as it goes past the Earth, that's what creates that air energy. So that's what we were talking about last week, and it's just to sort of say that. Getting back to that brace, with that air energy that's come through, there's a possibility of a tropical storm that should be coming in off the Pacific into the west coast of the Americas, somewhere between Mexico, you can see it here, somewhere between Mexico and California. It's pretty much where I said it was. And at the moment it's not being really played up, and I would just be a little bit attentive about that, especially if there was a solar flare that's happening over the next 24 hours. So do pay attention to what's going on the sun. It gives you a heads up of about 4 or 5 days of what's coming through in the vibration from within us. There is one other thing that's going on in the sun, and then I'll move on from that. There is on this sun here, you can see in the red, and I've specifically focusing on the incoming sunspots that's coming around the corner that produced an M flare, reasonable size flare, nothing in our direction, of course. The world, or the Earth, seems to be protected from major blows from the sun, and that's been happening for, I would say, around about 10 years of observation of the sun. There's a lot of Earth-facing sunspots that don't actually erupt in our direction. But getting back to that corner side there, you can see quite a lot of filament energy that goes between the sunspots and the corona holes, and it's a bit like a mutable energy. So between the sunspots, which I suppose you could equate to cardinal signs, and then you have the filament energy, which is sort of mutable signs, and then you have the corona hole, which is the fixed signs, the fixed energies, and it varies. You know, it's not as simple as that, and you'll see that in the astroflower. The astroflower is a beautiful tool that allows to bring a lot of complexity of the world of energy around us and draw it into something that we can use on a daily basis in order to be in tune with our energy and be in tune with the energy that is around us, which is really important. Okay. So you can see that filament energy that's coming through there, and although these sunspots, which I'm talking about, are actually really quite big, as I said, I think they're going to may do a flaring or two within the next 24 hours, but not in the direction of the Earth. And once it starts getting facing Earth, I think it'll calm down and wait till it's passed over to the other side of the sun, and then it'll start erupting again, as it has been doing that for the last 10 years, and protecting the Earth as we go through this pole shift energy. Because if we were being bombarded with those solar flares, the world would not be the same place that you look out of your window and see now. Okay, just telling you where we are for the energy messages from energy. We're on the same church as we were last week, a beautiful church. It is a male church, and we're on this male energy that's sort of coming through here at the moment. And it's been a point of confusion really in this church here, and this has to do with the pole shift. Sometimes the energy that's flowing through here is male, sometimes it seems female, and the same goes for that energy that we sort of saw coming off on you know, when I was on the female line last week. So this week we're on the male line, and as you said, I've got a beautiful view which you saw at the beginning of the video in front of me. And there seems to be a lot of crows speaking today. So let's see if we can get a message from the crows at some point. It'd be very nice. Or maybe Odin in the old Celtic and Nordic sort of myths. Yeah, so we're on here on the male line that goes through here. Absolutely beautiful place. So let's just get into the energies, finding our point zero. Now there is a video that I've done on finding your point zero. It will become more and more important in life as we go forward through the changing energies. Finding your point zero is going to be your biggest friend in the future. So if you haven't seen that video, please do go and have a look at that video. You know, it will help you enormously going forward. So let's just feel this energy that's flowing through here at the moment. Already you can feel the male energy that's flowing through, so you have to get past that. It's almost like just recognizing you know, a color of a building as you walk into it, and not being phased by the rest of the building because of that one color. There you go, the solar plexus, excuse me. The solar plexus is certainly playing its role on that male energy that's going through here at the moment. Let's just get through that male energy. Let's just connect to the general energy. Okay, and it seems to be, as I said last week, brace, prepare yourself for an incoming sort of situation. It played out in Leo readings more than anything else, I think. If you haven't seen your weekly reading, you'll find it on our channel. They will be coming out on Thursday and Friday. Earths and fires on Thursday, water and airs on Friday. And we talked about that a lot, certainly within Leo energy, but it came out in most people's readings as well about that. And there seems to be like, the energy seems to be like, it's almost like at the it's almost like the first down, or the scrum, as we would say in rugby, where you get the two teams that just go like that and get ready to go into play. And that's what the energy seems like. It seems like I'm ready sort of scenario. because as we see on the sun, as we see on the earth has its own sunspots, and that's what you'll see here. This chakra map is all about, which I created 25-30 years ago. You get these points of energy which can release out and confront the incoming energy, so that it makes the impact a little bit less upon the earth. And we do the same thing within our auras. We do exactly the same thing, and when you have that 0.0 energy within you, it is very precise of how you put your energies out there. Therefore you avoid a lot of complications as you go forward in life. So you know, it feels like that the energies there is ready for a pulse, as it were, to encounter that incoming energy that's coming in from the corona holes more than anything else, which we will feel over the next coming week. Okay, yeah, that's the general vibe. It doesn't feel stressed in any way. That's the best thing about energy, even when it's confronted with things that can be quite, you know, that us humans would see quite as serious, and we forget the idea that our lives are not even in a nanosecond of the life of a planet. And you know, we tend to forget that sort of thing. So, you know, any slight ripple within the world, we kind of think, oh my word, what's going on, you know. And yeah, there is a degree of that within our lifetimes, and there is major changes that are going on, but energy doesn't get emotionally caught up in things. There's no emotions in energy, really. It provokes a lot of emotions within us. The crows, I've got to show you the amount of crows that, let me just show you. I don't know if you can actually see them all flying over there. They just came past us to sort of say, you know it's right, you know it's right, sort of scenario. So you know, us humans can tend to be a bit of penny henny, you know, you know, the chicken that had an acorn fall on the head, and they said the sky was falling in and stuff like that. But then that is pole shift, and I do feel a little bit like penny henny sometimes. But yes, it's that sort of energy at the moment is really, the energy of the earth is really compact. I think it's reflecting that earth energy that's coming in, and that's very good for constructing, building things, career paths, creating businesses, building houses, doing physical work, but also engagement in regards to relationships on a very physical sense, engaging in activities, you know, pastimes and so forth, or spiritual practices as well, in a very physical sense, actually getting down and doing it rather than just thinking about it. Getting down and doing it, because that's the most important thing, and that seems to come out of the readings last week. Okay, so that's how the general sort of energy feels here at the moment. Let's just do let's connect to this energy and get like a chakra sequencing going on. So we just find that 0.0. Let me just get, the wind is blustering my hair about. So there we go, just connecting to everything. We've got the energy that's coming through that ley line there, that energy line that's just behind us. Just waiting for the sequencing to come back to its 0.0. Here it comes now. There it is there. So, okay, we're heading crown chakra, very bright, inspirational times at the moment. It's tying the consciousness to physical acts of life. It's really beautiful. Very, very productive this week. If you really want to get ideas into flow, this is the time to go. The root chakra, which is its other half, because the root and the crown chakra is the same chakra, is pulled upwards. It's like we're sitting, rather than standing, we're sitting in a cross-legged lotus position, as it were, and we're pulling that root chakra up, and it's allowing things to shift slightly into the crown chakra. Gives a lot more clarity, of action more than anything else, because you'll know when it seems right for you. It's moving on now, and this is beautiful. This is a big change. It's moving into the heart chakra straight away, which I haven't seen that quite literally for 6 months. Okay, and it really, and then it flows into the crown, the throat chakra. Sorry, didn't have enough time to speak about the heart. We'll do afterwards. It's flowed into the throat chakra, which allows for joyous speech, I think, joyous conversion of ideas into physical doing of things, and reiterating how good it is, but being serious about what you're doing. It's, you can have fun, but it doesn't necessarily mean just because you're laughing that it's a joke. So it's having that dual side to it. Then comes the third eye. Now that's strange because it came afterwards. And the third eye in the throat chakra, I'll talk about that afterwards because it's on the shift again, sorry. So the third eye is coming in there. It's much more sort of serious than the throat chakra. And that's moving now away. It's bringing much more down into the sacrum, coming down into the much more nuts and bolts of life, coming down into those fundamental desires, which is really good. It's a lot quicker than it has been in the past. The chakra sequencing that's flowing through. It's coming up to the solar plexus. So this is absolutely beautiful. It's really, pushing the energies much more in the higher sense here. And then we come back down to the root, and the root sort of says, after going out and allowing yourself to explore your consciousness and the energies, it's coming back down to concrete things, rooted things. So the root chakra is a lot more solid than the crown chakra. There's a lot of buzz within the crown chakra, and we'll talk about that in a minute. And then it comes back to the crossing point, very quick. Chakra sequencing, and that could well be for the fact that normally our energy, it looks like an egg, an upside down egg, so it's much more pointed at the base than it is at the height. So here is above is flatter, and then it goes down and goes underneath our feet into the ground, and then when we come to the end of this existence, that's when it joins up underneath our feet. It's a video for another day, I think. But what's happening here is that you've got this central point here, and this central point seems to have been shifted, and it's almost shifted to there. Now, normally, when I'm doing my healings, a lot of people can be too mental, and if you are too mental, this energy at this week here is going to suit you down to the ground. I think it's going to reflect your world a lot better. For other people who are a little bit more sort of enclosed, if you're working too hard on one thing, got your, as the French would say, got your head caught in the steering wheel. If you're down and dealing with heavy stuff, you might have a lot of frustration in your life this week. If you're worried a lot about life, you may find that anxiety can be an issue here, where you can, like a bottle of champagne, the energy flows out too quickly through you, and you can't grasp those ideas quick enough and actually enact upon them. So meditation is brilliant. Finding your point zero is going to be your biggest friend in the future, obviously with a tea meditation in the morning. So normally, let me get on to the third eye and the throat chakra. So if you imagine our third eye and throat chakra goes like that, because it's the same chakra. If I pull on if I extend my third eye, the throat retracts. And this also has to do with a lot of intuition. It also has a lot to do with telepathy. That sort of thing is where you're speaking and then you listen. Speaking and then you listen, and that's how you do with your energy in order to help your telepathy and your intuition side. And it felt very much like that today. Normally they sort of come up together in the chakra sequencing, but here the throat really did sort of come out, was very jolly and joyous, and then the third eye came back and gave it balance, gave it seriousness. And that's what maybe through our ideas and what you wish to do in your life, that may well be a driving force of bringing things back into balance. It might be easier for some, say like Librans, who are incredibly third eye generated energy, and sort of it could be also sort of Pisces as well, and Scorpio as well, because Scorpio is right next to Libra. It's in that zone there with Libra, Virgo and Scorpio. It's in that sector there. Seems to be really, it might favor you, but better than say like Taurus, Aries, and although Pisces I think will get away with it a little bit better actually. But yes, so it's finding that balance point between the two, and finding that balance point will also help us then to recenter ourselves. And I think this is where the sacrum came in and the root chakra came in, to center ourselves on things that are a little bit more concrete in life, a little bit more sort of, yes, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. It should be fun. And I think this week is going to be fun for a lot of people. Just try and, when you're going into a corner, driving is fun, but going into a corner, just make sure you're not doing it. You're not trying, you're not driving too hard, as it were, and going too fast. Okay, so yes, that side of things, I think there's a beautiful energy for this week here. Let's just connect to the energies here, and because the cows in the field have all started to sit, so obviously there may be rain on its way. So this is what it's all about, reading the AI of nature that is around you. If you haven't seen the AI NI video, go and have a look about it. Nature intelligence. It's also going to be a very important factor going forward into the pole shift, and as AI goes madly wrong at the moment, it looks like it's going to be very important within our human world as well. Okay, so we've got this ley line that's coming through here. Let's just connect to that ley line there. Let's find that point 0 again. There we go. The auras of all the trees behind and plants and so forth are really coming to the fore. Can feel the separation of physical to energy. Okay, I'm ready. Okay, I will now follow that line that goes behind me to the crossing point, which is inside the church. Find that vortex, going down into the vortex. It's asking me to stop and look. I'm still getting a build-up of this, these bubbles as well, and they seem to be concentrating now. I think over towards Thailand, places in that sort of area there, going right down to Australia. I think that area there is going to be, may well be affected by electrical problems and so forth. I also feel like there's the electrical thing that's going on within Europe still and within America, and that's eking through slowly, and we saw that last week in the power outages at Cannes down in the south of France. It's telling me it's ready. This is part and parcel of that bracing energy. It's really compressing enormously, and what seemed to be a grey level or layer in the energy just below the mantle is now becoming very dark, as if it's concentrating even more. So that's going to be interesting to see how that sort of plays out there. Okay, so let's just follow that all the way down, that vortex. Here we go. You can see the center, the plasma ball in the center of the earth. There it is there. Excellent. Beautiful energies that are surrounding it. Crystal clean energies. And when the pole shift will finally arrive at the surface, because I think it's pretty much happened in the center of the earth already for some time, this new energy that's going to pop out after pole shift is going to be really clean, and that's when we can do amazing things. This seems to be the thing that's coming through. So healing, there's going to be a lot more people who are going to be able to do healing, astral projection, telepathy. There's going to be, the energy is going to be so strong and clean, that it's going to help us to do a lot of things that we thought we knew were possible but had difficulties in trying to do. And that's possibly why you may have difficulties at the moment, because the energy on the surface of the earth is not in abundance. There's not a great deal of it, and what there is of it is really concentrated. So we have to water it down a lot with our own energies. Okay, let's just see about going into the center of the earth. Let me just get that hair out of my way for a second. Okay, so there's the doorway into the center. It's much more regimented now. The plasma ball in the center with it's almost as if like it's now becoming an official thing, if you like. I have to introduce myself going in. It's the same when I go to the sun and I have a look at the sun, and we can do that some point this week, this weekend. You know, we're going to have a look at what's going on in the main Akashic libraries in the sun. But in the meantime, yes, it's just allowing me in, thanking you. So we come in, and it looks like almost like a stadium around the portal that's in the middle, where it's gradually on that portal. It's been gradually built like a ball of the Akashic library, of the local Akashic library, which is being created at the moment. So if we pass over at the moment, you will find yourself in this Akashic library. It's no different to the main Akashic library. It's like quantum mechanics, splitting cells. When one reacts, the other reacts. It's that similar sort of thing. And that seems to be really, really in place. And as it does, it's sort of as that sphere is making, with lots more and more souls that are gradually being contributed to it, it seems to be then feeding out to another layer. It almost looks like the theastroflower, to be honest. It's got lots of different layers, like an onion, layers of an onion. So that's what it's like. It's really nice, very orderly, church or cathedral like, or mosque or synagogue feel to it. It's got this sort of structure and majesticness about it. It's really lovely. Okay, so let me just go over to the portal. We've got the Akashic library there. It's getting a little bit more difficult to get towards the portal, so let's look at it from above. Whoa, okay, there's that bright light that comes through the portal. Don't really want to put my thing through that. Excellent. Let's get a message from the center of the earth. Know thy place. And it's not a threatening thing. It doesn't come across as threatening that at all. It's almost, if you know thy place, you empower your inner being. That's what it's sort of saying here. If you know thy place, everything will go like clockwork and things will really work out well. If you do not know thy place, it's going to be a spanner in the works, as it were. Thanking you. That light, let me have a look, just look down that portal there. It's quite far away. Now there's the other thing. I did look at I'll be there in a second, my friend. Hang on a second. I'm being asked about something. Hang on a second. I just want to have a look at that clock. It's now sort of, before it seemed to be, in our countdown and everything like that, it seemed to be going between 4 and 10. It seems to be a lot less than that now, and it seems to be like 4 and 8 sort of scenario going on. Okay, so let me just he's asking me whether I looked at that tablet last week, and yes I did, and it was about solar cycle 26, and there seems to be, it's like there's 2 cycles in one cycle, could even be 3 actually. It's like there's 2 cycles and then there's the whole cycle, so there's almost like there's 3 cycles within one cycle. And so it's going to be a strange, very, very strange solar cycle, next solar cycle, which starts, I would have said, at this Christmas, at the end of this year, as we do the transition from going through that sort of filament energy. So, you know, and he's sort of saying, do you understand that changing rhythm and that how it's going to change within you? Okay, that's his question. Okay, so no, I don't. I will have to investigate that, my friend. He says, okay, please do, please do. Okay, thanking you very much. Thanking you. He's now going back to his work and everything like that. It's empowering the solar plexus. It really is. And that sort of sacrum as well. Fundamental things to be doing. I've got to do it. Okay. Let me just find, thanking everybody. Thanking you. Let me just find the exit point. There it is there, coming out of that. Okay, thanking you. On my way out. And then we come out of that inner sphere. Do you know what? Here, I'm getting a message from the earth. And I said last week, or was it the week before, it was like this loving mother. And do you know what? It was, I think there's something I've missed on that. Because it seems this way now. It's almost as if like the Mother Earth is pregnant. And she's giving birth to a new reality. And I think this is what this whole pole shift is all about. And, you know, pregnancy can be, we'll talk about that afterwards, but let me just get a message from family. Does not just stop at your children or your parents or your brothers and sisters. It actually spreads across the entire globe and even universe. It's almost as if like we know thy place. We are finding our place within the universe, within a family that goes far greater than just this one planet. And it's like, if you imagine like 400 or 500 years ago, where certain groups of people were discovering other parts of the world, and it would have been completely alien to them and unknown before. But now we know we're all part of this majestical tapestry of life, of different, you know, different colors and nuances, which it makes the beauty of life. And it makes it absolutely fantastic. And it's almost as if like, you know, she's encouraging us to take our place in the greater family. That's what it seems to be. So I would, you know, we'll come back to that. I want to come back to that. And let's just thank her for that. Thanking you, the earth, for that. Thank you very much. She's very loving still. Really beautiful energies. Really solid, beautiful, not just, oh, lovely energies. It's really, really honest, beautiful energies at the moment. Let me just see where my vortex is. There goes the sun vortex going past. I'm not going to take that today. Let me just get back onto there. It is there, coming in, stepping into it. I'll be tentative as well what's going on in Hawaii, something about volcanoes going on there, but obviously there is a lot of volcanoes over there, but there's something about that. No, I'd be very attentive about that. Could be even be up in Norway, you know, that sort of area there. I didn't really just sort of catch it on the way through. Coming out the crossing point, sorry about that. Coming back down the line and back into the body. It's a lot quicker, the energies at the moment. Absolutely fantastic. A mother personified is what I'm getting from the earth. It's what the earth is trying to encourage us to do, like any mother would encourage their child to do. And also, you know, as much as a father would do, was encourage your children to live life. And you know, providing them with the experiences in order to live life, which I think is a really important, not just to exist or survive in this world at the moment. And that's where she's got that most amazing sort of nurturing energy at the moment, really nurturing energy. So, I would take energy by the hand at the moment and allow it to really open up to a lot of things that's going on in the world. Opening up to what can be, I think, as well, is really important at the moment. Fantastic week coming up. I didn't say about the elements as well, which we will be going into on the readings tomorrow. On Thursday, earth and fire. On Friday, water and air. We will be looking at earth, water and fire. And I would say water and fire does come in a very similar sort of thing. And this is where the passionate side of life, but not forgetting about that coronal hole, that earth energy that will string across, like we saw on the earthquakes, that go across towards the heart chakra and allows the heart chakra to sing enormously. So that's the elements that we're going to be looking at, the weekly readings there. If you haven't seen them, please do go and have a look. We also got that 0.0 and AINI videos, which will be really important in the coming future. I will see you at some point, either for the weekly readings on Thursday and Friday, or at the weekend in other videos. And don't forget about the live on Sunday night at 2100 hours UK time. Questions and answers, usually about energy. Last week we did a lot about the astroflower, because there's a lot of things coming to the fore about the astroflower at the moment, and individual signs and how Gemini season will affect your sign. So we did a lot about that. I think we're going to throw it open a little bit more this week here, and it'll be a little bit more sort of chatty. I will see you there. I thanking you very much for the support through subscribing, sharing, liking, everything like that. It's absolutely beautiful to see for the Astroflower family. Yes, I will see you soon. In the meantime, don't forget, life should be fun, so please do enjoy.